Listen, y'all, I don't know if y'all could tell, but it's night out here. I'm out here doing DoorDash, and this came to me, this thought. I'm like, I'm supposed to be doing Vlogmas because I said I was going to do Vlogmas this year. So it is December 1st, and I'm supposed to vlog every day. It's night out here, but it's enough light, so I thank God for that. But anyway, God gave me that topic to talk about and everything, but I completely forgot. Anyway, let me get to the point. So I want to talk to you today about faith and how faith does not make sense. It does not make sense. Do it make sense that God asked you to leave your job and you don't even have another one lined up yet? Does it make sense that God tell you to move and you don't even have a job? You don't know where you're going. You don't have an apartment. Move to a place where you don't have no family. You don't know anybody. You've never even been there before. Does that make sense? Does it make sense for God to tell somebody that at the age of 90 they're going to have a baby? That does not make any kind of sense, does it? Well, God wants me to come to you and tell you that faith does not make sense. God's ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are much higher than our ways. His thoughts are much higher than our thoughts. It does not make sense for us to believe that God himself came down here to this sinful world and redeemed mankind. And that just by us believing in him and following him, a God that we cannot see, a God that we cannot touch, that we would have the faith to believe his word. That does not make sense. It does not make sense to the world. It does not make sense. Even to those who, it doesn't make sense. But faith does not make sense. It doesn't make sense for God to have told Abraham to leave the place that God, that he was living in, to leave his home and to go into a place that God was going to show him. It doesn't make sense to leave what you know and go to a place that you don't even know. God didn't tell him a name of the place, where nothing. It doesn't make sense for God to come and tell a man that he's going to have a child at the age of 100. It doesn't make sense for God to tell someone to build an ark because it was going to rain, and it had never rained, not one day, ever before. That does not make sense. But God is telling us to do things that don't make sense because faith does not make sense. Because if it made sense, then you wouldn't need faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That's what faith is. You have to believe in something that you have never seen before. Who has seen God? Who has seen him? I have never seen him. But I can see the effect of God being in my life. I can see the changes in me. I can see the changes around me. Right? So I can see the effect of God's presence in my life. So that's why I continue to have faith in him. So when people don't think that what you're doing makes sense, then you're on the right track, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any kind of sense for God to tell you to start a business and you've never even been to any type of business class. It doesn't make sense for God to tell you to start a ministry and you've never even been to seminary school. It doesn't make sense. There's a way that the world would like us to do things, or say that we should do things. And when we do things the way God tells us to do, it's almost always contrary to the way the world tells us to do stuff. It's almost always. So if you're doing something and people are criticizing you and they're trying to tell you that that is not God, that it doesn't make sense, you better stick to what God told you. You better stick to your faith. You better stick to what you heard from the Lord. Please do that. Don't try to make it make sense. I know people say make it make sense. You can't make faith make sense. Because if faith made sense, then it wouldn't be, you wouldn't need faith to believe. You wouldn't need faith to walk out there and step out there. Everybody know if you quitting a job, you better have one lined up. It don't make sense to leave a job, close a business, and you don't have no other income coming in. But it makes sense when you know that God is your source and he's able to bring you revenue, income, finances from anywhere in the world at any time, at any given time. That's faith. That's belief. So I just want to leave that word with you. Quick Vlogmas for my channel for 2024. I pray the Lord blesses you and keeps you. And I'll be on again tonight at 12 a.m. finishing up this 40-day fast. We're almost there at the end. God bless you. Love you. Take care. Bye.